Okay, it is the Friday session for Bitcoin. Got about 4 more hours here left in the session. I will be doing another update over the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday for Bitcoin. Check back for that. Again, I've been watching the support level here. It continues to hold. Continue to believe that we're likely going to try to clear the resistance level eventually and move up to the next level of resistance, the upper end of the channel. I've been talking about that in each and every video. Here we formed a triangle. We dropped. We had a divergence that gave us a drop of about 9% there, and we went up and we formed a sideways trading range. We broke out of it, came back, and we had this move when we hopped over 100,000. We had a move where we got a topping tail. We rose by 5% with the breakout of the triangle, and then we came back that very same day and we dropped down to key support. The support, horizontal resistance here, horizontal support here, and we came down. We hit it right on the nose. We ended up dropping down almost 11.25% from that high, and then rebounded back up during the session. And closed with a spinning top, a very large spinning top candlestick. Now, jumped back up to test those highs, and then kind of went sideways, came back down, and tested the 20 period, the blue line right there. Tested these lows over here and got a higher low. Ended up forming a bullish falling wedge. I'll show it to you on the 60 or on the 4-hour chart there. Today we're up 1.63% at the moment, with about 4 hours left in the trading session. We have the session from Thursday. We were down 1.12%, and a big rebound here on the Wednesday session, up 4.71% after pulling back, and again forming what looks to be a bull flag pattern that is breaking out on the intraday charts. Let me show that to you in just a moment. And here it is on the 4-hour chart. Here's our triangle. We had a divergence that gave us the 9% sell-off, and we formed this triangle. We broke out, went above 100,000, came back. We got the bottoming tail on the 4-hour chart here at horizontal support, went up, got a lower high, a couple lower highs, and then came back down, and a further consolidation here just above the triangle and within the triangle here, after trying to take out the low of the triangle with the reversal, the over 11% reversal here that tried to take place, but ended up giving us a bottoming tail here in the 4-hour time frame. Again, the consolidation here formed a bull flag pattern that broke out and is now back testing at our 50 period moving average. The green line right there is the 50 period, the trend line holding a support. So again, we'll see if we clear this level. If you do, then again, we'll be pushing above major overhead resistance. And if we do, we can go to the next level of resistance. You have an upper channel line I keep talking about. I think we can reach that. I wanted to show you the 4-hour chart here. So what I'm watching is this resistance at the weekly time frame. And you can see, again, we come up above the trend line from the 2021 highs over here. We come just above it. It's acting as support. But we came right to this trend line right here from the 2021 low to these lows in early 2022, excluding the shadow. We came right up to that level and we stalled. If we can end up clearing that level, go to 111 to 115,000. If we did it immediately, we can come in just under 115,000. If we go into next week, we can reach 115,000. If we take our time reaching it, we can, going through this level, we can reach the upper channel line at about 120,000. Take our time reaching it, the upper boundary of a channel, if we can clear this level of resistance here in the weekly time frame. Again, my signals continue to be bullish. We're holding above the 10 period moving average. The 10 is above the 20. Bounced off the 50-week moving average. Signals continue to be bullish in the weekly time frame. The bulls remain in control. Now, here I have the trend line, the trend lines we just saw, but with the channel right here from these lows back over here, excluding the shadow. If I connect this peak, excluding the shadow, it's pointing up just a little bit higher. That could take us up to, again, 11 to 15,000. I'm sorry, 111. Did I say just 11 earlier? If I did, I apologize. 111 to 115,000. possibly as high as 115,000 or so, or just a little bit under it. If we take our time reaching that, and we drag out into the end of December or on into January, then again, it could be closer to 120,000 for Bitcoin. But again, this is a trend line where I think we're likely headed if we can clear this trend line of resistance. So we'll be watching these trend lines closely here in the weekly time frame. Now, if I just show you the Bitcoin channel by itself here, you can see what I'm looking at. We're stalling at the trend line again from over here, from the trough low that separates the two 2021 peaks. If we can get above it, you got that channel line directly overhead, moving towards 115,000 or maybe just under it. If we take a little bit more time, maybe just over it, but that's the trend line I'm looking at. So again, this channel, again, we're likely going to reach that upper boundary. Right now, we don't have distribution yet in the weekly time frame. We've broken out of this trend line that flipped the weekly signals back to bullish. Prior to that, momentum signals in the weekly time had already turned bullish, and then we got the breakout at that other trend line from that 2021 low, separating the two 2021 peaks. Again, I think you're probably going to try to come up here if we can clear that other trend line, but you got to be able to clear it. Bitcoin weekly chart here. And again, as I've talked about, here's the same channel. Now, again, here we had the accumulation. We haven't seen distribution like we were seeing back over here for 8 months. We saw distribution, and then we saw this accumulation, and we haven't seen the distribution at all since we got the bottom and the breakout, the higher low there at 52,000. I think it's likely we're going to try to come up here. Maybe we do that with the Fed here in December, meeting next week. Maybe we do it here in December. It could drag out into January. But again, the bull targets, everybody's getting bulled up. Bitcoin's going to go to 200. Bitcoin's going to go to 250,000. Bitcoin's going to go to 300 and 350,000, 500,000, 700,000. Everybody's getting bulled up looking at these targets. Again, it's likely that if we clear the resistance level, we'll stall right there. And if we do stall right there, then we'll be watching what happens. Do the bears come in and give us a reversal, or do we get a Bitcoin pullback? Problem is moving towards recession. The Saw rule was triggered in July. 6 months from July is January. A recession in the first quarter or in the second quarter can cause the stock market to peak as well as Bitcoin. The stock market is moving channel lines, and if you look at the S&P weekly chart, it's got a very similar situation where it's just below the upper channel line. You can see both Bitcoin and the S&P reach those levels. And then again, possibly with the Fed or here in December, the Santa Claus rally, and stall out at these upper channel lines. Should we be able to clear our current level of resistance? You got to clear that hurdle first. So just some things to be paying attention to with Bitcoin. Again, I'll make another video over the weekend, Saturday night or on into Sunday noon or Sunday evening. Once Bitcoin closes, we'll see if that resistance or get a reaction off of it. But this is a level you want to be watching. And again, if we hit it rather than later, you're looking at 115,000 or just under that level. If we take our time, just over 115,000, as high as 120,000. Distribution here in the weekly time frame as of yet. Watching what kind of weekly bar we get. We had a sell-off, but we've recovered now, so we'll be watching the weekly close as well. But check back for my video over the weekend, Saturday evening or on into Sunday at some point. Now, as I said, we have possible divergences here in the weekly time frame on things like the RSI. If we stall here and try to reverse, but again, we may just pull back or just clear this level, and the divergence may not be done yet. CDs moving up to the previous peak, price oscillator forming a divergence still, and again, that's just what we had back over here. But like I said, it may not be done yet, and we may go to higher levels. S&P has this negative divergence. It may not be done yet in the daily time frame. It may evolve into a larger divergence or brand new divergence. We have a divergence, but if we start clearing resistance, it may not be done yet. We're trying to bounce off the trend line of the RSI right here, and we're holding above 50. That's positive for Bitcoin. in the daily time frame. We start losing 50, we start breaking that trend line, then you're going to get a pullback or maybe a reversal. So some things to pay attention to with Bitcoin, but the diversions may not be done in the weekly time frame. It may not be done in the daily time frame. See the diversions here. Again, it may be that we clear this level and we come up to much higher levels, clearing this little trend line right here that we're stalling at, and that goes above the trend line there in the weekly time frame. Dollar continues to rise, Bitcoin continues to rise. One of them is wrong. Actually have a negative correlation longer term. Dollars broke out and back tested. Again, this could be problematic. It's doing exactly what it did at the Bitcoin top, but like I said, it may not be done yet. Bitcoin topped after it broke these two downward trend lines of the weekly chart here, broke horizontal resistance. That's what we've had here. We've broken trend lines and bounced off major support and broken overhead resistance. So something we're paying attention to. NASDAQ got a doji in the daily time frame today on Friday to close out the session, but it still may try to reach, NASDAQ still may try to reach this trend line right here. So Bitcoin, if it clears the next level of resistance there, it could try to reach the upper channel line I've talked about. The S&P can clear the trend line from the July peak. It can go up to this trend line right here and the weekly trend line. And if so, Bitcoin might clear that trend line in the weekly time frame that I'm talked about from the 2021 low it's currently stalling at. So this is a trend line I'm watching with the S&P 500, and here's a channel line in the weekly time frame. Again, both Bitcoin and the S&P, even NASDAQ, as I've shown you, they have the trend lines up here that we could still reach. This is a parallel channel, and if we reach that surrounding the Fed meeting or a Santa Claus rally or whatever, December or going on into July, this is the trend line I'm looking for the S&P to reach, going into the 6100 area, the high 6100 area. If we take our time reaching it, it would go into the 6200 area. The S&P reaches this level, Bitcoin could rise to that upper channel that I've been talking about in the weekly time frame for Bitcoin. Support the channel with the link directly below that allows me to be able to provide you this information. If you like the charts, you like the indicators, let me know that by supporting the channel today. Thank you for your consideration for that. I got more stuff to show you. And signals remain bullish here. Critical mass line still bullish, still pointing higher. After 52,000, it turned bullish, and then went flatlined with the October pullback, and that was where we tested our 100 period moving average, which again I told you we were going to bounce off that 100 period moving average. As we hold above the 100 period moving average, things are bullish, but we got above it and this turned bullish, and it's remained bullish. Critical mass in the daily time frame. Again, my other signals, daily time frame, again, still bullish here. We can clear the weekly resistance. Trend of momentum bullish here in the daily time frame as well. And here in the daily time frame, still bullish. Still in the upper portion of the cloud, and momentum here still bullish. Again, we could still form a larger bearish divergence on indicators if we can clear the resistance. If we don't clear the resistance, then we can get a pullback or reversal. If we get a pullback, we can build momentum to go higher. If we start a reversal, then again, we need to see evidence of that. Now everything's bullish, but you could form a larger divergence here going into the Fed meeting here. And again, a larger divergence trying to go up again towards 115,000, as high as 120,000 for Bitcoin. The 10 remains above the 20 period, 10 and 20 above the 50. They're all rising, and Bitcoin continues to have momentum in positive territory here, as well as the cloud being bullish, or the swing move continues to be bullish at this time. Impulse line bullish. Again, we've had some warning signals here, but it's really just kind of given us a sideways kind of move. We broke out of a triangle, and then we kind of are consolidating even further, just slightly above the triangle, moving back into the triangle, as I've been talking about. Again, momentum trying to move back into positive territory here. Again, it can form a larger divergence here with momentum, and we can go to that next level, moving towards 115, maybe 115, maybe as high as 120 if we take a little bit longer to reach it, and it drags out into late December on into January. We're going to reach that level. Next major level of resistance if we clear this hurdle. When we cleared this hurdle over here, the weekly signals all began to turn back to bullish. Momentum signals in the weekly time frame were already bullish, and we saw the bullish signals back over here in the daily time frame and then reaffirmed here at the 100 period moving average. Then the breakout and the back test. We moved to new all-time highs after the breakout and back test. That's given us this move. Our signals remain bullish with momentum here in the daily time frame. Trend signals remain bullish and in the weekly time frame as well. So I think, again, you've got a possible bigger move, a bigger divergence that could end up forming with Bitcoin if it can clear that trend line of resistance in the weekly time frame from the 2021 low that I've been showing you in this video and in every single video. As we're hitting that resistance, weekly signals continue to be bullish. Here is the rainbow cloud and the critical mass line in the weekly time frame. Both are bullish still. Balance of power in the weekly time frame remains positive. Bulls remain in control. Signals in the weekly time frame remain bullish. See if we can clear resistance or not. If we don't, then we'll be watching to see if they revert back to bearish. Do we get, and if they do, again, we start getting a sell-off. Do we see a pullback or a reversal? Be watching that resistance. Do we clear it? Trend line I've been talking about in the weekly time frame that we're stalling at right now. Again, signals in the weekly time frame remain bullish with momentum signals, and again, the cloud is bullish. Signals remain bullish. Now, in order for the advance to resume, we got to get above that trend line in the weekly time frame, and we got to be able to clear the cloud right here. Right now, we're stalling at the upper boundary of the cloud, and the cloud is still red at the resistance level. So the risk is that we start turning back down and getting a correction, a pullback, or possibly a reversal at that trend line. If we can clear it, we can go to the upper channel line of the larger channel on a Bitcoin, currently near 115,000 or just under it. Like I said, if we take our time, just over it towards 120,000. But right here, we're seeing the ribbon kind of go back and forth as we're kind of in the sideways trading range. We were in the triangle. We moved just above it. Now we're trying to break out of a bull flag on the 4-hour chart, but we got to be able to get above the upper boundary of the cloud here. That's still showing it's bearish at major resistance. While momentum is bullish, we're turning back up. We're not clearing that level. So we got to be able to clear that level if we're going to clear the trend line in the weekly time frame and try to get above that to move to higher levels. So watching this closely, see if the bulls can take us higher. Pull back first, or do the bears regain control and we start a reversal? My guess is we'll probably attempt to reach that upper channel line as I've been talking about in this video and each and every video.